Ultimately, I'm not making these videos to tell you whether I liked a game or not. I see the channel as being more informational rather than about my personal opinion, although these videos aren't strictly journalistic in nature either. If you watch them, I think you can generally get a sense of whether I like it, but whether I like something really doesn't matter that much. Instead, I want to give context, a bit of history, show the graphics and gameplay, and give you a sense of whether it's something you might like. VCS games are largely indie games, and the person or people who make them pour their creative hearts and souls into it, so I prefer not to trash work publicly even if I don't like it. I'm sorry to say though, I didn't really like Residual. Most of Orange Pixel's games are made by one person with maybe a bit of help, but Residual's a much larger game in scope and production. Residual comes from a successful Orange Pixel Kickstarter in 2020, and the credits show that a relatively large group worked on it. Residual is clearly ambitious, and it shows in the dense mechanics and stunning visual pixel art on display. Unfortunately, I didn't like playing the game much at all. Residual aims to be a bit like other crafting-heavy games like Terraria and Minecraft, but unlike those games, I spent most of my time lost, unable to know where to go and what to do when I got there. Sometimes it was how to do it. The map is tiny and largely unhelpful, but it's also the only real clue you have as to where you are and where you're supposed to go, outside of a bit of objective text. I put in at least 10 or so hours into the game, and by the end of my time with it, I'd barely progressed through half of the first planet. There are dozens of planets to play. The issue's a lack of guidance combined with a poor user interface, and the smaller and dense pixel graphics don't help much either. What does Sealant look like, and how will I know when I get there? And also, where is there anyway? I have no idea, and there's no real place to look it up. I needed to find it, but the map didn't offer any help. I eventually hit up the Orange Pixel Discord in frustration, but even then all I really learned is most other folks seem to get stuck by the same issues in the same places. There's an image of it from Twitter in the Discord, but it honestly didn't help that much. I normally don't watch other people's videos before making my own, but I felt I needed to know what I was not doing right. What I discovered is there really aren't any videos out there showing much more than the first hour or so of gameplay, and I've yet to see a video of people playing different planets. In order to move to another planet, which features different environments, graphics, and challenges, you need to craft, find, and build your way off the first one. After more than 500 game days, I'm just a bit over 45% through it, still looking for Sealant like I did during the end of the first couple of hours. Frankly, I didn't beat the game beat me, and it's why it's taken so long to get this video done. I wanted to show the breadth and scope of Residual rather than my own inability to progress. But ultimately these videos are about my experience, and a frequent and ongoing lack of progress has been my experience with Residual. Not that I haven't done stuff, I've crafted machines to mine and deployed them in arrays to gather materials. I've made countless fruit bombs to get lower through the planet's surface, but mostly I've collected a lot of rocks, vines, and sticks. The game itself appears to have an interesting story as you pick up fragments of journals and other artifacts left behind by the former inhabitants. I think you'll learn more about them, although I never got much opportunity to. Instead, I often ran out of energy traversing terrain I've walked across often, and used teleporters to get back to the surface to wait while I recharged and slept or used machines there. Maybe your experience will be different. Maybe you'll just get it, or get a randomized planet that's easier to leave. Maybe this kind of tedious gathering and crafting works for you. I love Minecraft after all, and the somewhat similar and quite a bit better game on the VCS called Something Ain't My Alien. I appreciate that Residual isn't gun-based, although you use plenty of bombs and get damaged a lot by alien wildlife. I really did like the graphics. I think this might be Orange Pixel's most beautiful game. But really it comes down to, is it fun? And for me at least, Residual was not much fun. Early game hand-holding and tutorializing can get tedious, but I'd have loved to see more of it in Residual. I think if I had a better sense of what to do and how to do it, then a bit more direction on where to go to get it done, the game might have clicked for me, and I'd have loved to see more about what Residual has to offer. Well, after many hours, the thought of spending more time with the game in order to make a better review video left me wanting to do something else. A few tips for those checking it out. If you lose your teleporter, call it back from your crashed ship, assuming you can get back there. You can at least get there by dying. Gathering nanobots is key. You need graphite to make nanobots, and you need a graphite mining device to do that. You have a blazer, essentially a laser gun, although you can't use it against the things that want to kill you. Sometimes the environment tells you when you can use it to dig through stone. Sometimes it doesn't, but you can anyway. Most stone can't be lasered through. Using your blazer saps energy, so be prepared to charge up on the surface in daylight by standing around for a few minutes. To make a fire you need sticks. Place the fire on the ground, then go into your inventory and use a small rock to light the fire by pressing A. Once lit, you can light torches and glucobombs. You need to light glucobombs in order to explode them. You can be in the vicinity of a bomb when it goes off, so dropping it rather than throwing it can be more precise. You need econium, although it isn't clear to me how to get it. I did get some, though. There's an econium mining device and econium transmitter I made, but I was never able to find a place to use them. X jumps unless you're on a vine, then A jumps. You need to press X to jump and hold X to climb. A is usually interact. R2 brings up your map and related screens. Y brings up your inventory. You'll unlock new crafting recipes over time, mostly by acquiring various objects. Keep an eye out for levers. If you're stuck, there's a good chance you missed one. Use a torch to see areas you've bombed. You need a stick or other lever-like object in order to use levers. Sometimes you'll see what you've opened, other times not. Sometimes usable items from your inventory appear in the quick access menu when you use Y while standing near a thing. Sometimes you need to use an item that isn't immediately displayed. Sometimes your solar suit or backpack will get damaged and the robot will tell you to repair it. Watch the objective screen. Failing to repair a backpack causes your items to drop to the ground. Residual requires a modern controller. The classic isn't supported. Residual isn't a, quote, bad game, unquote, just a bit frustrating, unintuitive, a little bit tedious one with a poor user interface and a lack of guidance. The bigger and more ambitious a game is, the more it can struggle, and Residual is perhaps one of the more ambitious games I've played from Orange Pixel. Thanks for watching. I'll have more videos in the coming weeks, including a look at another Orange Pixel game, the co-op Run and Gunner Gunslugs 2, in addition to other indie games expected to be released in the coming weeks. Liking helps spread the word about the channel, and subscribing gets these videos in your feed. Have fun!
We need to get rid of that gross ooze covering it.